Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sewing and Reaping YouTube channel. And a couple of things before we get started. I got super chats! Finally got a super chat. So if anybody wants to hit me up with a super chat, you can finally do it now. Yes. And if you don't mind telling me how to use them after I get them, that'd be great. Because I have no idea how to use them once you give a super chat. So just let me know in the chat or whatever. And I'll try to read your super chats a little bit later. But first, before we get started, I've been spending some time on that YouTube channel, Fat Courtney Love, and I found this really funny video of Shanny criticizing me right after I got kicked out of that house the first time, and the biblical and what she was telling the Christian community to do to little old me after I was kicked out of that house, and I thought that I show all of you this, although a lot of you probably already saw it, but I'm sure there's some of you that haven't. And this is a good example of why people need to be careful, especially if you're if you're claiming you're a Christian and you're handling the Word of God. Because once you come out and say that I am a Christian, then that means that you are representing Jesus Christ. And if you're representing Jesus Christ, then your behavior has to follow that of a person that follows Jesus Christ. And when you start talking about His Word, you had better make sure that you're handling this correctly. You all understand what I mean by this soon enough. A lot of you have been leaving comments on Shanny's threads, reminding her what the Bible says that if a man should not work, then a man should not eat. Now, I'm not sure if all of you fully understand the theology behind that, but I know Shanny and Rev does to a certain extent. And I thought that I'd show you all this video here and listen to what she told the Christian community to do to me. And then after you're done listening to this, I will respond to what you're going to hear. So let's mute, and then I'll let you guys hear what I'm going to show you. And again, I'll read the super chats later. Oh my God, I got my first ever super chat. I'm going to read this one right now. I'm sorry, Wilson gave $2, and he says, "Filthy lucre." I got my first $2. What's today? October the 12th, 2022. There we go. So anyway, I'm gonna try to read these things. Like if I can't see them now, I'll read them later. But I'm sorry, Wilson says filthy lucre's sake. Anyway, let me get focused here and get to what I'm doing here or whatever. So let me and I know you're trying to be funny. I'm sorry, Wilson, by saying that. But let me and by the way, S. Campbell, I saw your comment with you saying that you wanted to come in. When I'm done doing what I'm doing, I'll gladly bring you in here. Let me see something here. Let's mute, and then I'll show you the video here. Let me make sure that this is the right one. Okay. Here we go.
Bad sport. You wonder why you don't have phone? Bad sport. We need to let him fall. We need to let him not eat, because he won't learn his lesson unless we don't show him tough fucking love. That's what the body of Christ needs to be doing to other right now, is chastising him, not enabling him in his idleness, because that makes you a sinner as well. You're not doing what the Bible commanded you to do. Shame on you, in the name of Jesus Christ. Drag, you're gonna laugh at this. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 18. Through sloth the roof sinks in, and through indolence the house leaks. Woo! And if you're saying I don't treat you like a brother by calling you a dumbass, even the Bible calls people dumbasses. And also, may I say, I call my own brothers dumbasses, and I think a lot of people call their brothers dumbasses. So your excuse.
So Shanny has some interesting views on this. regarding how I should have been treated when I was thrown out of the house the first time. And I think Shanny forgot all about this. So you saw it from 1:30 on what she said. Now we're going to watch it from the beginning to the same point again. Matter of fact, we'll probably watch the whole thing just so that we can get a full context, because when it's time to flip to these other videos where the same person is talking, you'll understand why I always said that the reaction channels wasn't always wrong about the things that they said. So let me show you what I'm talking about here.
To exercise my faith here. For some reasons, Christians are claiming that I don't follow the Bible. You can argue with the Bible. You're not arguing with me. You're arguing with God at this point. You're arguing with God at this point. Let him not eat. That is a command set by Jesus Christ. Who are you to judge me? I am listening to what he taught me. Does he think he's going to be in heaven and sitting on his ass all the time? No, God's going to put you to work. Unfortunately for you, you're not going to have a very good job in heaven if you get there. You better pray you get there. Bad steward. Bad steward. Bad steward. Someone who misplaces money and doesn't do what money's supposed to be. Bad steward. You wonder why the lights are out? Bad steward. You wonder why the water's gone? Bad steward. You wonder why you don't have phone? Bad steward. We need to let him fall. We need to let him not eat, because he won't learn his lesson unless we don't show him tough fucking love. That's what the body of Christ needs to be doing to other right now, is chastising him, not enabling him in his idleness, because that makes you a sinner as well. You're not doing what the Bible commanded you to do. Shame on you in the name of Jesus Christ. Drag, you're gonna laugh at this. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 18. Through sloth the roof sinks in, and through indolence the house leaks. Woo! And if you're saying I don't treat you like a brother by calling you a dumbass, even the Bible calls people dumbasses. And also, may I say, I call my own brothers dumbasses, and I think a lot of people call their brothers dumbasses. So your excuse there is fucking nowhere. You're not arguing with me. You're arguing with the Bible now. Let's just remind now. I'll go say it again. For even when we were with you, we would give you this command. 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 Means obey. Means do. Do. I did nothing wrong. I followed scripture. I followed scripture.
Maybe, how about this? Think of it this way. Maybe if the black man didn't take advantage of the white person, maybe the white person wouldn't say goodbye to the black man. Does that make more sense to you? Maybe you should tell the black man to stop being an asshole to white people so white people wouldn't be assholes back to the black man. Do you got it now? It doesn't say in the Bible we deserve hell. It doesn't say that anywhere in the Bible. Human beings don't deserve hell. Human beings deserve grace and understanding by our Lord Yeshua HaMashiach. Any Christian out there saying we deserve hell, they are liars, and they are speaking the lies of Satan. That money is not from me. That money is from Revelation News' mother as a gift to Dragna for his cancer research. We'll continue on with more Bible studies, but it's late now, and
Okay, so let's talk about that one for a moment here. Out of Shanny's own mouth, first of all, she's quoting the scripture that a lot of people has been bringing to her. That if a man shouldn't work, that a man shouldn't eat, right? But she said, I should be allowed to fail. I should be allowed to fall down. I should be destroyed. And all this other goofy, unbiblical nonsense that was coming out of her mouth, considering the situation that happened over there the first time. Absolutely hilarious. You know what I mean? Re-listening to this and seeing how everything actually played out. You see, Shanny, when you sat high and lofty on that big throne of yours, when you had a little bit of money and you thought you was better than everybody else, you thought he gave you permission to go out there and belittle everybody, put everybody down, and say these kind of things. You never even thought for a second that this could actually happen to you, that you could possibly lose everything and possibly have to go back to these people and receive help. And I helped you, knowing full well you said stupid stuff like this on YouTube, knowing full well you were saying dumb stuff like this. And do you know, I heard you thank a lot of the atheists for donating to you. You have yet to get on here. And by the way, I don't need you to do it, but you have yet to sit there and talk about, you know, what G-Man has done for you. But you're not shy about letting these other people know, you know, when they give you enough to get a coffee or a soda or something like that. But you don't even consider what I did when I was actually doing it. See, Shanny, here's the thing. When you get on social media and you're representing Jesus Christ, you're representing the gospel, you're representing the church, and you start getting on here and you start talking about scripture, it is vitally important for you to know what you're talking about. You are not qualified to teach. I've said this to you before, and I'm saying this to you again. You are not qualified to teach. You do not know what you're talking about. Okay? You said that I should have been destroyed. You said I should that I shouldn't eat. And now that is being done to you, everyone's being evil and wicked. Shanny, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you say that when the money ran out, that you was going to go get a job? Oh, you probably forgot that. You know what I mean? How about I give you a little bit of a reminder of what you actually said?
because what you say is a reflection of how you think about him, not about what I say. You know? Because there are a lot more to Jason than just his money. And always has been to me. Because our relationship was never been about money. And I think as I start pouring back the older videos with me and Jason, you're going to realize that it was never about money. It was about friendship. It was about companionship. It was about understanding each other and loving each other and respecting each other as individuals. And it's always been about that. Is our relationship perfect? No. But what relationship is perfect? But though we do have problems in a relationship, though, yeah, we do fight. Like every other person in a relationship, they fight. Though things that happen in our life can be misconstrued to other events, does not mean that we may not be perfect, but our love for each other is. Because our love for each other has always and always will be unconditional. It has always been completely unconditional. Like, yeah, sometimes we get mad at each other and we yell at each other, like every other couple does. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's very normal and typical of relationship. See, I think what if the money runs out? I know exactly what I would do. I already have it planned out. I start doing Uber temporarily. Because our love for each other has always and always will be unconditional. It has always been completely unconditional. Like, yeah, sometimes we get mad at each other and we yell at each other, like every other couple does. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's very normal and typical of relationship. See, I think, what if the money runs out? I know exactly what I would do. I already have it planned out. I start doing Uber temporarily until I can start establishing myself a little bit better. And not only would I do Uber, but I try to get myself back into the cannabis industry and start selling products again from them. That's what I would do.
Now, we are obviously watching this in 2022. Back then, some people probably would have saw that and have been like, wow, she's calm. She's not high. She's not saying a lot of stupid stuff. And she seems to be level-headed. The money's gone. They spent themselves into poverty. And neither one of them will actually do Uber to make a living. Neither one of them will work at Walgreens to make a living. Neither one of them will work anywhere to make a living. And the money has run out. Just because somebody makes a YouTube video and says something doesn't necessarily make it true. Do your due diligence and do your research to see whether or not somebody is lying or not. But Shanny, when are you going to start doing Uber like you said you're going to do? When are you going to get back into the cannabis industry? And I'm not talking about being a customer. I'm talking about being a retailer. When are you actually going to do that? Because I see that you did a Twitch video and you're trying to learn how to use Twitch Studios and you're going to start responding to videos. And I know at some point you're going to see this one and you're going to want to respond to it. Why can't you do Uber? You don't got blood clots. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. You ain't dying of cancer. Okay. None of those things are going on. None of it. None of those things are going on. None of those things are going on. You have no medical records to prove you're going through any of those things. What's stopping you and your man from going to go get a job? Oh, I know. I get it. You were too busy. And this is when I'm going to just go back into being my old self again. You were too busy putting on chapstick and kissing all of these behinds here on the internet, trying to win their favor, trying to gain their approval without understanding they didn't like you. I've been telling you this for 2 years. 2 years. And you spend all of this time trying to actually win their approval, get on there, try to sound all articulate and everything and whatnot. And now that you lost everything, you don't want to work. So it was okay to destroy G-Man. It was okay to starve G-Man. It was okay to do all these things. But now that you're in that position, all of a sudden it's a wicked and evil thing. That don't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, by your own admission, you shouldn't eat. You should be destroyed. You should be humbled. Well, actually, that's kind of what's actually going through right. That's kind of like what you're going through right now. But it isn't by my hand. I have nothing to do with that. Believe it or not, it has nothing to do with the people on YouTube's hands. This has to do strictly with God right now dealing with you, correcting you and showing you that you should be a little bit slower on the teaching here, and maybe try to find a church and get a pastor and have them teach you, what the Bible actually teaches on these topics. What I'm trying to say to you, Shanny, is that you're lazy. It has nothing to do with blood clots. This has nothing to do with you having cancer. This has nothing to do with, well, the hate that you get on YouTube does play a role in it. But For the most part, no one's stopping you from filling out an application and going to get a job and then keeping it quiet and not coming on YouTube and talking about it. I got another video on here. I don't know if I'm gonna show that one today, but where Shanny is claiming that Rev is her life. That Rev is her life and Rev is her life. For the Christian, Jesus is our life. God is our life. But for her, her man is her life. And that's why she has all these problems. She's putting all of her faith and all of her hope in a man. And Rev is doing the same thing. He's putting all of his faith and all of his hope in a woman instead of actually going out there and learning how to work. Rev, I saw a video on the same YouTube channel where you claimed that you knew how to work a cash register, that you know how to work. If you know how to do I'm sorry. And then on the same channel where Shanny says that you don't have any work experience either. The position you are in life right now is a humbling position. And you have to go out there and actually do something for yourself in order to get the respect that you want, Rev. Shanny, if you want to eat, if you want spaghetti, if you want pasta, if you want pizza, if you want a sandwich, if you want these choice foods, the food that you want to eat, you have to actually get up and actually do some work. You have to be paid you have to be paid a wage, and then you have to take that money and go to the store and get the things that you want. But as long as you keep doing this and begging, you're going to eat what you're going to get what these people give you. I'm not in a position where I got to beg people on YouTube so I can eat a burger or anything like that. And I certainly ain't worth no $700,000 either. But the only time you're going to see me doing this is when I'm 100% flat busted and I need emergency money. That'd be the only time you ever see me like doing the things that I see Rev and I see Shanny doing on here as far as begging for money. Take your own advice, Shanny. You need to go get a job. Okay. And I would love to hear what you have to say about this, Shanny, about what you said in the past. Was that false teaching on your part? Was that unbiblical on your part? Was you just talking out of your rear end when you were talking there, Shanny? I would love to hear how you feel about that same topic in 2022. Now, a lot of people have heard, actually, let me see if anybody left any super chats so I can read them real quick. Just give me a second here. Read the super chat. Okay, that's the point. Okay, cool. I'm gonna read them right now. Hold on. I gotta find those super chats. Hold on. Before I can read them. Now, how do I do this? Okay, Sandra Berger says, brother, read the super chats. That's the point. All right. Oh, Veckle, you tried to call me Veckle? Okay, gotcha. If you tried to call me, I know somebody tried to call me on the phone. I'm gonna go over there and take a look at who called me in a minute. Yeah, so the super chat, the last super chat I got was a $2 from Sandra Berger, and it says, brother, read the super chats. That's the point. I'm a virgin when it comes to these super chats, guys. I'm just trying to learn how to do this. Wait a minute, somebody else left one. Brick with Eye says, bro, lots of people want to donate if you unblock them. I got to go to my settings and actually do that. So we'll see. I'm sorry, Wilson is saying G-Man getting donos. G-Man getting donos. All right. Let's see something here. The actor says, and he gave $5. He says, don't blow it with super chats. Play the game, G-Man. Oh, and it's your friend Lubis. You blocked me. Yeah, I did, Lubis, because you and Gentleman Pioneer was getting on my nerves. But anyway, oh Lord, it's a lot of these things here. Hold on. Okay. GG Aylin says, G-Man getting super chats. This is the best story arc yet. SMMV gave $1.99. Okay, you ain't say nothing, but all right. Okay, so Simply Krista says, second super chat. Okay, thank you very much. Let me try to keep up with this. Okay, congrats to your super chat, Sandra Berger. All right, thank you. Another super chat from I'm Sorry Wilson. He says, Filthy Lucre. Okay, I read that one earlier, I think. So I guess I'm caught up now, I think. I got to get better at this fast. All right. So Bug Love gave $2 and he gave me a super sticker. And it's a vegetable dancing. Okay, cool. Cool. Let me see something here. I think that's it. So I think I caught up with. Oh wait. No, caught that one. Okay, the actor. I'm already. Okay, here we go. Here, the actor. Hey, read the super chats. I'm already $10 into this crap, and unblock me. Love the Lubis. I'll unblock you later, Lubis, when I get an opportunity. So so I got to learn how to keep up with this. Let me see something here. Maybe I can do a. I think this comment section can be I'll leave this open right here and then I'll be able to see it this way. So if I don't see your super chats right away, guys, please don't kill me. I'm still learning this stuff. I don't even know how to collect super chats when this is done. But anyway, so there's another video that Shanny did back in the day. And this one is a video. Again, that's on Fat Courtney Love's YouTube channel. And this is when I showed everybody the license plate number on that car. I do remember this one thoroughly. And I remember the video response that they gave me where she pretended not to care about what I did that particular day. And I believe at that particular time, they was doing that Justice for Shanny stuff back in the day or whatever. So let me show everybody what I'm talking about here. Wait a minute, hold on. Okay. Brick with eyes. G-Man read and understand better than Billy. Oh. All right, cool. So how about this? Just so I can pay attention to the chat. I will play the audio of the video. You'll be able to hear it, but you won't be able to see it. Now, you know what? I'll come back to the chat in a minute. Brick with eyes is the last person that gave a super chat. Okay. Let me mute and we're going to take a look at this quick YouTube short.
Oh no, G-Man. How could you? How could you dock drop me like that and put my license plate out in my car like that on the internet?
Motherfucker!
How dare you do that, G-Man? How dare you? It's not like someone doesn't see my car or license every single time I go out in the road and fucking drive. Oh my God. Woe is me. And I don't even want the fucking car because it's a junk piece of shit. Oh no. Like the house was a junk piece of shit. Oh no.
All right, so you saw Shanny pretending like she didn't care about the car being shown and everything and whatnot. And then you heard what she said at the end. She said that the house was a junk piece of garbage. You guys heard that, right? The house was a junk piece of garbage. But like I said, fast forward later on, she kind of wished she was there right now because she would rather be there freezing her behind off right now than where she is right now. I assure you of that. All right. So let me put this out in the live chat so you guys can come here. We can talk a little bit. Then I'll end the stream. But anyway, yeah, Shanny, I find it very interesting that you can sit there and tell me that I can't eat if I don't work, but then you expect everybody to pay you so that you can eat. I find it really interesting that you sit there and you say that I should be destroyed and I should be humbled, but you shouldn't be destroyed and you shouldn't be humbled. Why is it that the Bible is relevant when somebody wrongs you or do something to you according to you, but when you do the same thing, you shouldn't be held accountable at all with that? Please explain that, Shanny, when you respond to this. Maybe you can say, well, G-Man, I was a false teacher back then. G-Man, I didn't know the Bible that well back then. I'm dying to hear your take on this. So, what? Okay, so we got Sister Sunshine here. I haven't talked to her in a while. How are you doing, Sister Sunshine?
Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me okay? I haven't streamed in a long time.
Uh-oh. Okay, so my internet's bad.
Oh,
Okay.
Hold on a minute. It could be me. You never know. Let me see.
Give me 1 second, Sister Sunshine. I'm going to have to use a different device. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, somebody let me know if you can hear me, because it's been a long time since I've streamed, actually. Oh, good. Okay. Yeah,
Okay, give me a second. I'm going to have to use my phone
Oh, sure.
because
No
I can't
problem.
hear nobody. So just give me a second.
No worries.
Let me remove myself real quick.
I couldn't resist in coming into this live stream. I just couldn't, because I haven't talked about the whole Shanny and Rev thing for about almost a year, but I just want to say that a lot of what I predicted came true.
What did you predict?
Oh, I had predicted that they were going to go through all that money, and that Shanny was going to try to hook up with somebody else and discard Rev, once he didn't have any money. Definitely saw that they probably were going to lose those kids if they didn't change their ways, if you will. Homelessness, I believe that homelessness is in their future. Right now, I suspect that they are getting money from the elderly uncle. So there's a chance, because today they're claiming that the hotel just gave them a free pass to stay there forever, apparently, until they feel like leaving, which there's absolutely no motel on the face of the earth that's going to allow junkies to stay there for free for an unlimited no exit date. So I think they're probably getting money from the uncle. Now that Shanny has lost her looks and lost most of her teeth, I think that G-Man, honestly, I think she was definitely trying to get with you. I think that, you know what I mean? She thought you were going to be the next meal ticket, if you will. And when that didn't pan out, we saw her kind of throw the chum into the water when Rev was locked up. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next. What I hope does not happen, hopefully because of her record, it won't. But when people that are parasitic, when it's, they're like a human tapeworm and they're looking for a host, unfortunately, if she can't lure somebody in like she did with Rev, right, using sex, let's face it, I fear that she may become one of these caregivers. That you will see people that take advantage of the elderly and claim to be a caregiver, and they move into their house and they take over their house and they take over their life and they take their Social Security check. So, yeah, I'm a little concerned that.
Okay, S. Campbell, you came in. I can hear all of that in the background.
Whoops, sorry. Let me put the kid away. I'll be right back.
All right. All right. I'll try to mute him. Hold on. Because I'm using my phone here. No. But Sister Sunshine, yeah, I agree with you. She definitely had a plan to get me. Rev don't see it, but she definitely had a plan.
Well, I don't understand how he could, if he's watched the videos that she made while he was in jail, she was ready to kick him to the curb. If anybody would have stepped up and offered her, you know what I mean, a relationship or whatever, she would have left Rev in jail and she would have been gone. And that's pretty clear that she, really, I don't feel cares much about him at all, especially now that he doesn't have anything to offer her. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if she ends up on the street, because they both are still refusing to work. I mean, yesterday Rev made a video stating that they were in the early stages of starvation. That, he was saying we're in the early stages of starvation here. But yet today, Shanny had her hair done. So I don't know about you, G-Man, but if I'm in the early stages.
He also made a video asking for an adult.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm in the early stages, I'm not doing my hair.
Well, they're in the early stage of starvation, and they asked for $27. They asked for $27 like 2 days after G-Man announced when they ask for $27, guess what they're looking for? Like, really?
I gotta read a super chat. Tammy says that Tammy sent a $2 super chat and says unblock us all, free the people. I will do that later today. Right now, I'm
Well,
holding my phone up and I'm trying to look at the chat at the same time.
somebody left me a really interesting comment that I didn't really think about, because unfortunately, I'm here in California. We have a lot of tweakers. We have a lot of junkies, and their MO is kind of the same, no matter where they are. But somebody caught something that I didn't catch. When they're talking about getting Shanny a sub, like they're talking about they want a sub, like making it sound like it's a sub sandwich. Well, apparently there's a medication called Suboxone, and it is popular amongst junkies. So that could very easily, when they're talking about, oh, Shanny just wants a sub, she really wants a sub, it may not be that she's a fan of sub sandwiches. They could be talking about this Suboxone. So interesting.
That's possible. And plus they got a video on Twitch lying, claiming that they don't like bread and they don't like ramen noodles or whatever. And I watched them eat both. So
well, if you're
it's possible.
If you're starving, why would you turn down anything?
If you're starving, why would you say you're against gluten and then ask for a pizza?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'm talking about that they don't have any place to get their EBT. There's literally places within walking distance to
across the street from where they are. Right across the street from where they are. Literally across the street.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just that. It's also paired with the laziness. And actually, I found it interesting, G-Man, when I don't remember when it was. It was a few days ago when you were actually trying to educate them on how to live poor, and it was things like you can go. I don't remember what you call it there. Dollar store, Dollarama, Dollar General. It's one of the dollar whatever things. And you were saying, and I've been in that situation. You go there, you can buy dry macaroni on the bulk, like a big.
You can buy all kinds of things at the dollar store on the cheap.
yeah.
If you really need
but
it.
what you can't live on is like convenience store pepperoni and that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's
well, and
it's just weird to hear somebody try to teach somebody else how to live poor when it was what I thought should have been pretty obvious lessons for them.
Well, and they left things, they just discard stuff. I mean, they left that air fryer. Somebody bought them an air fryer so that they could prepare food without having a functional kitchen, but yet they didn't take care of it, and then they just left it when they left their house. The same thing with just the weird stories that they come up with, that there's no phone at the hotel, or there's, this, that, or the other thing. There's plenty of resources out there. Heck, on YouTube, there's people that do the live for a week on $1, from the dollar store. People, I mean, $20, you can get pounds of beans, you can get pounds of rice, you can get, macaroni, you can get all kinds of things.
That involves cooking, and they are not going to do that. That involves cooking, and they are simply not going to do that. It has to be fast food.
She used to brag that she ran a YouTube cooking channel. This whole thing lately about her refusing to cook has been blowing my mind, because that used to be her claim to fame is, oh, come watch my cooking show. It was a terrible cooking show.
I watched her cook one time, and that's when she made the spaghetti and meatballs. That's the only time I've ever seen her cook.
To be fair,
and that's fine. I don't mean to make fun of her. I don't mean to make fun of her for that, but sorry.
To be fair, the cooking show she did, when Jason ate it, he had to use a whole bottle of Pepto-Bismol.
That was kind of weird. Also, they don't have a kitchen now. And actually, I'm going to say two things. I know we're going to talk a lot about how they lost money and stuff. I did want to go back to a point that Mr. Sunshine said about the relationship. And I don't want to feel sorry for Rev. It's going to sound like I do. But just real quick note, G-Man. Jules Tells All is around. I know that Shanny's not a big fan of hers. I think she can be fairly well behaved. I know Jules somewhat well. I kind of actually see her as my stepsister. I think of her as my stepsister quite often.
She can come here temporarily. If she misbehaves, she knows what's going to happen. Because the last time Jules was on my YouTube channel, she pretended to be burnt toast. How you doing, Jules?
I don't think that she didn't do that. Can I say the thing? Sorry, before go ahead, Jules. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, so I want to say the thing about Rev. I want to go back to the point Sister Sunshine was saying about the relationship, because, and again, I don't want to sound like I feel sorry for Rev. He's had some bad choices made in that brain of his. But the thing you were talking about, Sister Sunshine, how does he bounce back from those videos that she made while he was in prison? It wasn't a wistful, oh, you know what? I should really consider moving on and just letting the guy that beat my kid go on with his life separately. No, she made video after video after video talking about how demonic the guy was and how she needs to get away from him. She hopes he's in jail for 107 years. And like, if he hears even 10% of that stuff, how does a person bounce back and be in that relationship? I don't
Well,
know.
he believes he deserves it. He believes he deserves to hear that. But she didn't mean none of that. As soon as she got horny, she wanted him back in the house. Warborg123 says he gave a $2 super chat saying, Shannon gets no coffee, more for G-Man. All right.
Well, and not only that, but then the $500 from his elderly uncle, who's a retired pastor. So that makes it even worse, right? Because they're playing on his sympathies because he's a Christian. She got $500 or so from him to get Rev out of jail, but she didn't actually use that money to get Rev out of jail. But she also didn't give that money back to the elderly uncle.
Maybe I should have, because what happened was Shanny got the money from the uncle. I went down there to try to bail him out. Obviously, I couldn't do it. And I came back and I gave it to Shanny, and I told Shanny to give it to the uncle. So
yeah, and it just
that never happened.
Yep. Gone. It was gone.
All they want is a bunch of handouts. They don't want to work. You know, Shanny was working, what, 4 years ago, I think, when she was with Chris. She was working at a grocery store or whatever. I think she was a home health aide or something like that, I think, too.
She got fired from both jobs for not actually doing her jobs and being on YouTube instead.
See, that's what's scary is if she worked as a home health aide. Now, hopefully with her domestic violence arrests, you know, hopefully that's going to keep her from going to work with any kind of agency. But with that kind of experience, unfortunately, people that are, and I believe Shanny is predatory. I believe that she looks for people that she can take advantage of. And certainly it would, I wouldn't, let's put it this way. I would not be surprised if she latches on to some poor old person who's lonely and doesn't have close family or friends looking out for them, and then offers to move in with them to take care of them. Because I'm sure she'll tell them she can cook, she can clean. I mean, the other day she was talking about how when she's a supervisor, she doesn't put up with sexual harassment, right? Because she was saying like people can't talk about other people's, you know, personal areas, but yet she sexually harassed you, G-Man, and she
sexually harasses everyone.
Drag. Yeah, I mean, she said some very, very
which is true
to drag about his private areas, you know, but then she makes this video saying that that's sexual assault, and she never would have put up with it. How dare somebody do that? But she's literally done that more than once to more than one man.
S. Campbell gave $1.99 super chat, but you didn't say anything, S. Campbell.
I want to ask something. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So what is the deal with the Durango and he keeps referring to as the Caddy? I'm assuming it's that car that was in the driveway. He keeps saying the Durango's tire blew out again on the highway and then he abandoned it. And then they have the Caddy somehow, and that they need to replace the battery in it, and they were asking money for that.
Well, he has a Cadillac, and he actually prefers a Cadillac over the Durango. The Durango apparently belongs to Shanny now. He says that he can sell the Durango with his salvage title that he has, whatever the heck that means.
It's probably something he made up.
And he said he can get about $40,000 for it if he were to sell it with the salvage title.
He said he left it on the side of the highway.
I doubt that. I believe that thing is right back in the driveway where it was. Angry Roach says they spent thousands of dollars. I'm sorry. Angry Roach gave a $5 super chat and said they spent thousands of dollars in freaking cameos.
Yes.
Okay. Why don't they ask Kurt Angle or Gilbert Gottfried for financial help? Wow.
Those are some of the people that they gave cameos to.
My goodness, great! I don't know how long I'm gonna keep these super chats up because I gotta pay attention to what's being said. I gotta look at this chat. That's a lot. I don't know how y'all do this. I really don't.
A lot of content producers have had to sort of make that change. Like, as you know, I haven't hosted for a long time, and it was always kind of a challenge to kind of keep up with the live chat. But it's definitely going to be kind of a change for you if you do the super chats, because people do kind of expect that they're read fairly soon in a timely fashion. Plus, you have to
Monitor
learn your
red for
monetary
me.
units. There was a €2 super chat that you announced as a mere $2 super chat. I'm sure the person wasn't offended by that. It's a challenge.
It was a €2 super chat. My
Yeah,
phone
yeah, and
said
I don't know.
$1.99.
Continental.
No. I'm sorry. This was like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, really? Did I miss it?
No,
Let me
you
see.
did read it. I'm just making fun
Okay.
of you. You didn't read it, but when you read it, and you said thank you, it was a nice, yeah. You appreciated getting that. It's just that you didn't realize you're actually getting more money than you thought, because €2 is what is it, $4? I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah, euros are actually
People
more
are-
valuable than a
people are
dollar, I
impressed.
think, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can't just collect the super chats after you end the stream. You have to wait. Like you get paid once a month on the 21st. And technically all the money that you're earning now, you won't see until next month.
Oh, okay. All right.
And apparently they retain a pretty healthy percentage of it. It's not quite like some people say it's 90%. It's not that bad, but I mean it's a gesture.
What
It's
is?
a gesture for the audience. You're not doing the super chat.
All
Apparently
right.
YouTube retains us like a third of it or something. But it's a nice gesture for you. And from what you've been saying, and plus what we know about you, because you actually have a work ethic. People say what they want about you. You actually work hard. I don't think you're hurting for money. It's a nice gesture, the super chats and the stickers.
I need to get stronger internet, I think, because when I get that, then I can use my laptop, and I ain't got to hold this phone and look at this screen. As a matter of fact, I don't think I got to look at this anymore. I can see everything on my phone now, I think.
Well, I found it kind of odd. Somebody, I think Icon, I want to say is the channel name, put up a thing about Shanny today, where Shanny's saying that, well, she's got to get a better modem. Like, okay, you're in the early stages of starvation. You're in a roach motel that somebody else is paying for. Right? Supposedly,
We gotta have priorities.
yeah, but she's talking about buying a modem. I'm like,
Yeah, those are her priorities.
yeah. Which
I don't think they're in the same room, and I don't know if they're at the same place no more, because their background looks a little different.
Yeah, they've either got money coming in that they're not telling people, because again, you know what I mean? There's too many little things here and there that it's like, if you really truly did not have money, these things wouldn't be happening. And the fact that they're too lazy to go dumpster diving, they're too lazy to go to a food bank, they're too lazy to stand on the side of the freeway with a sign. You know, now I don't know about in Pennsylvania, but I know here in California, you can make a few $100s a day standing on the on ramps,
They
right?
used
With
to
the
do
sign.
news programs about that, how much you could make standing on the side of the road.
Yeah.
With the sign.
All I know is this: she used the Bible, and back when the whole house situation happened, she sat there and told all these people that I need to be destroyed. That I should starve and all this other stuff. And what she failed to realize is that I took my time and I built myself a pretty good audience. And my audience knows me way better than that. They knew as soon as I got out that house, it was going to be on. They knew it. They knew it. So, and I have people who genuinely supports me here on YouTube. Now I got people in here that want to destroy me as well, but you know what I mean. So, and she underestimated that. Now that she's seeing like all of the damage that she's done, putting people down, making all these jokes, acting like she was God when she had all this money and everything and whatnot, she's starting to see just how unpopular she really is now, and how ungrateful she is.
What was hard to watch about that saga, like you moved into the house, you were putting in your I think some people call it sweat equity. You were actually working on fixing the house, and then you guys got into a fight. And my view on that was it was very much misrepresented. You guys would be talking about this guy with the long hair and all this other nonsense. As far as I could tell, and this is a guess, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, or feel free to just not say anything about it if it just doesn't matter. But I was under the impression that she was paying for a phone for you, but it wasn't for your benefit. She was paying for a phone to have in your pocket so that you were there to take her calls each and every time she called. And you never said this, but I bet you she was phoning you anywhere between 4 and 12 times a day. And then when you paid the bill, and then whatever it was, pays you go or whatever, it went down again. And then she tried to call you. My guess, you never said this, but my guess is that she flipped out when you weren't there to take her calls. Like, she strikes me as a bit of high maintenance of a friend. And all that bad stuff, I'm referring to the stuff you just said now.
She really is.
Well,
I think that just real quick, when you didn't take her call, I think that's when she decided you weren't a good friend to her, and that's why you deserved all those bad things. That's why for us that was a hard thing to watch.
And I'll take it a step further. When they was living in the house, the same scenario happened again. Only it was the shoe was on the other foot. I gave her money. She said she was going to do something with it, and she did the exact opposite. And I called her on it. I said, now you see what you just did? I'm not you. I'm not gonna blow up and throw you out because you did something different with the money or whatever. And I tried to get her to learn, you know what I mean, from that. But again, she's so ungrateful. She won't even acknowledge that.
Well,
Right. No, I think you were right. I'm sorry to take over here, but I think you were right to make that connection. And a lot of us saw that irony. She was upset with you because she gave you money for a purpose, but you spent it on something else. And that's according to her. Because I think that you actually did take that first bit of money and use it to pay on the phone. It just didn't last long enough. But who cares? Because I don't think she was upset that you spent it on something different than she gave it to you for. She was upset because you didn't spend it on the phone. It could have been for something else. You said, I was going to go buy ham, but instead you bought beef. That wouldn't have bothered her a bit. It was the fact that she was giving you money so that you stayed on the end of a very short leash. And when she wasn't able to get you by the phone, that's what made you a bad person in her eyes. It wasn't about the money. I still think you're right to point out the irony of her doing what she did, but honestly, I think that's what it was about.
Well, I'll tell you what I really think. I've said this before in the past. I truly think that she had a plan that G-Man was going to get the house. She was going to milk Rev dry. And I really believe that she planned on living in that house with G-Man and kick Rev to the curb. I think
that's always been the end goal.
Yeah, she was trying to feather her nest to where she could she's like a tapeworm that's looking for a colon at all times, and this is how I really truly believe that was her plan, and it just backfired. And remember the infamous "I need G-Man, somebody get me G-Man, call G-Man." she was
That's the best one.
That's manipulation, right?
Yeah. Severely. And then Rev admitted that I paid his bills. I was the one paying the bills.
She wanted G-Man to white knight. She's trying to manipulate a white knight situation, right? Well, Rev is the bad guy, and I need a good guy. She did the same thing to Rev, right? Chris was the bad guy. Rev was the white knight. I mean, it's a pattern that she's looking for another guy to fall for her BS. And see her as a victim, and then she's going to move in and take over his life and suck him dry like the parasite that she is.
Revy, the Adult Protective Services elf, gave $2 and says, does Nice G-Man have funds for food, Revy? So hungry. Okay.
I will say though, people have been like trolling by sending her like $1 on Cash App, and she's been declining the dollars, which I think is so funny because you're starving and you want money that bad. Why are you declining $1? Like that adds up.
Right. Well, and these are people that not only made pornography with the kids in the house, by the way, she had no problem with doing pornography. She had no problem with live streaming pornographic content, right? Of her in a bathtub, her doing this, her doing that. Rev offered to put a cucumber in his hiney for $45. So, I mean, where, right?
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, they're telling us that, they're too good to take $1. You know what I mean? Or they've already debased themselves. I mean, they're one step above crack whoring at this point. And if Rev's not careful,
at least that would be honest work.
Yeah, Shanny's going to turn him out there on the mean streets of Scranton.
I don't know.
I got another super chat. Bricks with Eye says, "Why, dude, a hobo fire when you had a fireplace?"
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, G-Man, you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to ask, like, in the last few years that you've been dealing with them, when have they done something Christian that didn't end up turning non-Christian and as like something that actually hurt you? And in addition to that, like, I know that I've trolled you a whole lot, but I've also told you, like, go look at these archive channels and see what they say about you. Do you think that since you were wrong about Shanny and Rev, could you be wrong about anything or everything else? And, you know, the way that you react to the quote unquote atheist community, the way that you spread your ministry. I mean, is there any chip in the armor that, hey, maybe these people aren't so bad? Maybe they do have morals?
I'll say this. And I said this before regarding the you know, what you guys been saying about Shanny, that my eyes are open now regarding them. I'll say that the majority of what y'all saying about them is actually true. You know what I mean? As far as my attitude towards atheists and my relationship with atheists, that's too long of a conversation to have. So I can't answer that right now.
No. It's not your relationship.
They are not Christians in any sense of the word. Okay, they are not, and that is something that actual Christians cringe.
I'd have to agree with Sister Sunshine.
Standing for Christ or Rev, because number one, they both believe that they are archangels. They believe that they are this Metatron, whatever that is.
And Sandalphon.
Yeah, and right, stuff that's not in the Bible. Okay, they misinterpret the Bible, misapply the Bible. I don't even think they could spell Bible. Okay, I don't. So the fact that they are going out and as a Christian, it really makes me unbelievably annoyed that when they are using Christianity and trying to use people's Christian faith to succor them, to give them money, to give them this, to give them that. That's all it is. It is a something to be exploited. Okay. People like
I'll tell you what I told Beckel a couple of days ago. The reason why I don't make a statement on whether or not they're Christian or not Christian or not, I've done so many different times here on YouTube that I don't want to make it look like every time I have an argument with somebody, I come out and I say that somebody's not a Christian. So I'm staying out of that one.
But you can look at any run-of-the-mill Catholic and say that they are not Christian. But then here's people with evidence of not being Christian, and it took until now for you to say anything.
Well, that's not necessarily true. Shanny says a lot of stupid stuff on social media that is anti-Christian. Number one, and some of you might get offended with this, she claims to be LGBTQ. I think it's pretty clear on where I stand on that. She gets on here and she misrepresents the scripture when it comes to debate and when it comes to certain other topics. They are not archangels. I know that. A lot of times when Shanny's talking about prophecy, she sounds like she doesn't know what she's talking about. So
I mean, she said she's a prophet. What do we do to false prophets?
Well, in the Old Testament, the Jews would have stoned them. In the New Testament, we rebuke and correct them. We rebuke and we correct them in the New Testament. We ain't stoning nobody because if I'm going to stone false prophets, and I got to stone the other people too. I don't think you want to go there. So my thing is with Shanny and Rev. They have a social media. Actually, let me not say they. Shanny has a social media addiction, and I think the only reason Rev even makes videos these days is because Shanny manipulates him and causes him to make videos. But she has a social media addiction. So
they are hostage videos.
Definitely.
Can we acknowledge that the videos that Jason makes are hostage videos?
Yes.
She tells him to make those videos, and it's obvious. Everybody can see it. Everybody can see it.
Well, she did admit that she was a sex addict, so just throwing that one out there.
I saw a video with them talking about being sex positive Christians too, which is nonsense because that's unbiblical too. And I'll get into that in a future video.
They called themselves sex workers for a while, remember? When they
were doing their porn, yes.
Yeah,
I mean, Rev said he was a Satanist.
I'm one of the few people that didn't see it and don't want to see it.
Unfortunately, I saw it. I'm sorry.
I mean, G-Man. Speaking of Rev,
it's awful. That's it. Yuck.
Did you ever hear his blog talk stuff?
His blog talk? Yeah. When I actually like Rev better when he did that versus what he's doing right now, because what he's doing right now is he's just under orders right now. He can't really be himself. As a matter of fact, I can tell you this that this is 100% true. The reason why you don't hear him doing his blog talk stuff no more because Shanny won't let him do it.
But like what I'm getting at is he's always been this right-wing guy, and he said multiple times that people who get assistance are animals. He said that on there. And what I'm saying is, like, you're a dude from Jersey. I'm a dude from Jersey. Most people grew up with assistance. So with that, coupled with the racism and the constant negative stuff from them, like, what people want to know is, like, are you saying this now because Shanny flipped out?
No, this is what I always thought. I always thought that his blog talk. I told him to his face that I appreciated his truther stuff more than the stuff that he's doing now, because the stuff he's doing now is just filler. He's not really talking about nothing.
I guess what I'm really asking is like, did you let it go for this long because you were getting views or getting things out of it? Like it was definitely like a conditional relationship between the three of you.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. I've gotten in their face on multiple occasions without you guys knowing about it, and I told them that if I heard about it on YouTube, I would throw them out. I gotten on their case about lying to me about food. I gotten on their case about not keeping that place clean. I gotten on their case about how they raise their kids sometimes. I gotten on their case on several things that you guys don't know nothing about. The only reason I didn't want to talk about it is because I knew if I talked about it, and you got to understand my mindset then, because Drag was on a contract video. I had things planned that I wanted to do and whatnot, and I didn't want everybody all in my business and whatnot. So I was on their case. Shanny made YouTube videos giving you guys hints that men think men are controlling and men do this and men do that, and G-Man was here, yada yada yada, or whatever. But I got on their case about several things, especially Rev concerning work, what they do with their money when they get it. And I remember specifically, and I'm gonna keep saying this. I went there one time at 11 o'clock at night. I was gonna stay there for that one night. So I wanted to go to Pizza Hut it was a Pizza Hut, Domino's. It was one of the two. And we went to go get pizza. And we're driving, and I asked him, I said, does Shanny make any money with her videos or whatever? You know what I mean? And then he tells me, oh yeah, she made like $300 or $400. And I said, what does she do with the money? He told me she goes out that she goes and buys medication. She didn't offer me a dime the entire time they were living there.
Does
That's
that
another
surprise
thing.
you?
That Delta 8 is not medication. The other day when you were talking to Drag, you kind of got upset when he said drugs. But I'm going to tell you, like, I was a 10-year heroin addict, right? The behavior that they are displaying is either methamphetamine or opiate addiction. It's not Delta 8. $30 can get you a roxycodone, 30 milligram in Scranton. You don't withdraw from that.
They're not using that. They're using Delta. They got a very strong Delta.
I smoke
addiction.
weed and Delta every day. You don't shake and get withdrawals from that. And I'm telling you.
Well, I'm just telling you what was bought for them and what I see them using. And they got a major Delta 8 problem. And the reason why Shanny had the problem with that, because when she was in Colorado, she was smoking all of that weed.
Yeah, but weed is non-addictive. The Delta 8 is the same thing with the Benadryl. It's to help them get through withdrawal. That's what it is, bro.
I understand it. I understand that. But all I know is the only thing that they ever bugged me about as far as medication went, it was Delta 8.
In Colorado, one of their followers admitted that even that they found like tinfoil that was burned underneath the sink as if they were doing some weird shit with spoons and stuff.
That's tar heroin or methamphetamine. Straight up.
You, that's what one of their people said. I'm not saying that you sit there and watch them do it.
Meth.
I've been clean 7 years, by the way. I'm not like proud of this. I'm just saying this is what's going on. And you just said that she was keeping money from you, right? The other day she says, oh, I broke up this meth fight. She can't defend Rev or her kid against Rev, but she can break up a fight. You look at that motel. I mean, I'm in Camden. You're in Jersey City. You know what those motels are about. That was people coming there to collect money that Rev got fronted. I guarantee.
I don't know nothing about that though, but a girl has no name says she gave a $5 super chat, and she says every time she reads from the Bible and says God or Jesus, replace it with her name. That's how she interprets the Bible.
Facts.
She thinks she's God. Yeah. Can't argue with that.
I also want to ask you, sorry, Hogtie, really quick. I also want to ask you, G-Man, if you saw the video of her bringing her oldest son up to talk to all the strangers on the internet recently about you lying on them, which I feel like is completely inappropriate. She needs to leave her kids off this platform. We've always said that. We never want to specifically talk about the kids. But she brought her oldest, which is William, right?
Yes.
And it was like a phone call. And so she basically coached him into saying all this shit, saying all this stuff about how you're lying, and he doesn't understand why you're lying, and that his parents are poor me. And then basically the kid was begging for us to give their parents money.
There was another video that he made?
Just the other day.
No, it's just
I
the
saw
one
the
video.
short video. I saw the short video where no faces was shown, but the recording, and I said that I didn't want to play that on this channel because Shanny was. I think part of her motivation for doing that is she wants to flag these YouTube channels if her minor son shows up on one of those
Well,
videos.
none
That's
of the
exactly it.
reaction channels played it. Just by the way.
I
Well,
do
one
think
of them
I heard
did.
you say.
One of them did. It was
Secular was going to, but he took it down.
yeah. You got to be
Yeah.
careful because sometimes they do things on purpose to set you up so they can flag you.
Yeah, I heard you make that prediction, and I kind of get your point. Like she can be a little bit devious that way. My read on it is that she actually did say, "Oh, look, my oldest son thinks these things that are very Shanny positive, so I want the message out there." I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong to sort of wonder about that, but given that I know a lot of people said, "Oh, she coerced him or threatened him or whatever." I think that he said things he honestly believes. The thing that I find so offensive about it is that I actually find it more offensive that young man believes it to be true that the reason Jason attacked him is because of some uncontrolled psychiatric problem that Jason, it's just not his fault. It's not his fault. And I'm not saying Jason doesn't have, psychological or psychiatric problem.
That ain't the reason why he attacked him. That ain't the reason why he attacked him. He attacked
Oh, I
him
know. I'm with you on
because
absolutely.
Shanny devalued him. For at least from what I gather and what they told me, it sounded like Shanny belittled him to the point that he had to take the frustration out on somebody. He'll never do that to her. You know what I mean? So he took it out on one of the kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She'll
Oh,
beat
you're right.
his
You're right. He carried it. He carried that from one room to another, and it just happened to be that the younger guy was in another room, and he took the brunt of it because he couldn't defend himself. The thing that upsets me about that short video, where so she recorded him saying, the older one, saying some Shanny positive things. If he wouldn't have said what she wanted him to say, we never would have known that recording had ever been made. So remember, these are two young men who went from calling Rev daddy, right? And oh, it's so awesome. What a great guy. He's buying us these gifts. Oh, he's such a nice guy, even though he's yelling at them in restaurants and just treating them like garbage. But then he's starting to assault them. And to the point where the older one calls the police, and then they're relieved when Shanny finally says, well, he's never coming back. And then when she says he is coming back, they're literally crying about the prospect of him coming back. They then sit him down and say, oh, you don't have to worry about him assaulting you because he has a psychiatric problem. I'm more bothered by the fact that they actually believe that story when it's not true. And if he does have a psychiatric problem to where he can just randomly start assaulting 12-year-olds or 13-year-olds, how is that comforting for either of those kids?
It's
the
not.
whole thing is appalling from start to finish.
And the kids
I
definitely
agree.
have Stockholm syndrome.
Well,
And Shanny dug her own grave when Shanny brought Red back in that house. That was just stupid on her part.
the sweet
That was just dumb.
the sweet syrupy, oh, we love you, son, thank you, son, at the end of that video was enough to me right there. Kids that are abused, they sometimes, there's a role relationship where the child becomes the parent, and the parent is treated like a child because they, put their children in an inappropriate place in the family hierarchy. Other times they have a trauma bond, and so when you're a child and the person that you depend on to feed you, clothe you, house you, you learn to placate them. You learn to please them, and you want them to have positive feelings towards you because otherwise you're not going to eat, or they're going to beat you or whatever's going to happen. So the very fact that they rewarded him with this syrupy, lovey-dovey, oh, we love you, right? That's a dead giveaway right there, because we've all seen videos where she's threatening to punch him in the face and she's calling him names and cussing at him. So, that's just more manipulation. I feel really sorry for the children. I really hope that they somehow can cut that tie, you know what I mean, and get a lot of therapy, because
They should not be allowed contact with them at all now that they've been taken away.
No, hell no. I think it might be a crime in PA for them to, it's like showing the CPS paperwork. She doesn't have custody. She cannot put them on film or, put their sound out there. A lot of people have reported them, but I do think that's a crime in Pennsylvania.
Oh, that video
And
will go to the courts.
they're going to be penalized for it. They may never get them back for doing that. That was just dumb.
I mean, they're not even trying. She won't pee in a cup to see them. They're not going to get them back.
Well,
But
how have they avoided criminal prosecution in both Colorado and Pennsylvania?
Because Pennsylvania cops have murders and things to deal with.
Yeah.
So this gets stuck to the back burner. It's the same thing in Jersey. I've got to get out of here in a minute, but I just wanted to ask one last question, G-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, you and I have had our differences. Like, I don't know if you remember me. I've had a few different names, but I go back messing with you since like non-sec. And I do appreciate like the forthcomingness and the calmness that's been displayed lately. But I still kind of have a question that's been bothering me this whole time. It's like, when Rev told you that she body slammed the kid, how could you continue defending for like months?
Well, there was no way for me to validate that she actually did that. That's something that he told me. Shanny never confirmed that actually happened. Although I don't remember which one. One of the kids told me that Shanny hit them a couple of times. I forget which one.
Well, I mean, when you said that on Drag Stream, you said that you believed him then.
Yeah, I did, but there was really nothing I can do. That happened in Colorado.
I mean, you could cut ties and be like, yo.
I was already thinking about doing that. I was thinking about doing that long before that conversation happened.
Good.
Long before that conversation happened, because these knuckleheads were spending all this money, and they wasn't doing nothing for themselves to go forward. And they promised me that they was going to go to the city and fill out that paperwork so that they can get disability, and they never did it.
They're not eligible for that. You have to have a work history to get disability. Shanny might get it because she is extremely overworked. Rev is not eligible. Rev is not eligible for anything.
He can get it too.
I mean, if he has a diagnosis. Oh, you know what, dude? They showed us those pill bottles. They're not doing anything.
Actually, if Rev applies for Social Security, he'll get it. He has had a condition since, and I don't know if it's a temper or what, but he's had something since he's been a teen. And the only reason I know this because I've seen the paperwork, especially the first time I went to the house. Because when they had me go through all them papers and I was calling them up and saying, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Oh, wow. I didn't know this was, that this was an issue with you. You know what I mean? And they would explain to me over the phone that, ever since he was a teenager, he could apply for Social Security and got it.
Yeah. And that's all I'm saying is they claim disability, but they don't know what they're talking about. Like, they have to go through SSSI. Shanny may get disability in PA, but I mean, it's years to wait. But
I don't
let me
think
get
they're going
out
to
of
stay
here.
in PA too much longer. I think they're going to dip. I think they're going to dip as soon as they get some money.
And go where?
I don't know, but they're going to try to dip. I think.
I have a question for you. If you have time, I have a question for you. If you don't mind, and answer as little or as much as you want. It's going to be a weird question. About 3% of G-Man's audience is going to know what I'm getting at here. But okay, so underneath the bathroom counter, we have scorched foil and scorched spoon. The foil itself is scorched, and yet there's no rig in sight. Needle, plunger, syringe. No rig.
Crushing pills and smoking them.
Or tar heroin. You use a straw and you inhale the fumes as it rolls down the foil.
There you go.
So y'all found that in Colorado? Y'all found burnt spoons in Colorado?
Yes.
That's what they use to make crack. That's what they use to make crack.
Well, crack you use a Pyrex dish, bro. Allegedly.
Yeah, it's the scorch marks on the foil that are going to give you the difference, whether we're in the camp of meth or some sort of injectable heroin. It's not injectable heroin.
It could be tar heroin.
That scorch marks on the foil, right? Yeah.
Why don't you guys just ask Chris whether or not Shanny actually used that stuff?
I don't think she did that with him, though.
Nah.
No. But I don't think Shanny does that. I think that's a Rev thing.
I think that is a Rev thing.
We should.
I mean, just look at
Chris. It was only weed.
Look at his physical appearance change over the last 2 years.
Why would there be scorch marks on the foil from weed?
All right,
the reason why his physical appearance has changed so much because all he eats is peanut butter. He doesn't eat anything else. He eats peanut butter.
You take the lighter under the foil, you hold it in front of the tar or the pill. When it starts to boil, you pull the lighter forward away from you, and the chemical follows the fire and makes smoke. You hold a straw right above the pill, and you inhale the smoke that way. That's how you smoke dope and meth.
I didn't know that. All right.
Just real quick for his minute. I apologize for bringing you back to a place, but you seem to have conversationally walked back there yourself. But thank you for the answer. because I and some people have been wondering about that, and I
It's
did
good,
not.
man.
Cool.
I try to use my experiences to show people what not to do. I mean, I got clean. I got custody of my daughter. I remarried. I moved back to Jersey. Everything's good. I'm a tradesman. G-Man, I'm gonna get out of here, but I'm hoping we can keep this dialogue open. I tried emailing you and stuff. I was trying to get you to give Rev the money, and in December I was going up to North Pennsylvania for a hardcore show. I'd offered Rev, if he left Shanny, I have friends in the treatment industry, mental health industry. I could get him in somewhere. And I was trying to link up with you, but in the last few days, that offer was rescinded. I can't mess with Rev.
Yeah, because Rev's still brainwashed. That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand.
Anyway,
I get it.
Maybe one day we can debate abiogenesis or evolution or something. But like, I like this side of you, and I'm hoping that like the good dude that's inside, not so volatile, can come out and maybe start like seeing the greater world around. Like, good people are good people regardless of what they believe.
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Right.
Yeah. But
Right,
but as far as like I said, Rev goes and trying to help him. Yeah, one of the things he's gonna have to do is he's got to try to get away from Shanny for me to help him. Because I'm telling you, if I give him any money, Shanny's gonna use it to just smoke it up. You know, and I'm sure somebody out there can help Shanny out if she's by herself or whatever. But the only way I'm helping
nobody
Rev.
helps her out.
Yeah, they're not there. And by the way, I could make this claim and almost no one would believe me, but luckily there's a person in this room who was in the room when it happened. I attempted the same sort of thing, to extend some help and some advice and some compassion to Shanny, and recognizing the nature of the problems and saying people get in that trap, and there is help available. And I'm not just tossing it out there because that's just by coincidence. Sabella's actually in the room here. She was there for that conversation.
I was there. You tried.
And look what happened. Look
And
what
I
happened.
tried to
You
help
try
too.
to offer them help. That you did a hell of a lot more than I did. I tried in one conversation, and then the whole thing blew up in my face. So I keep a million miles away from those people.
Yeah, it blew up
Because
horribly.
until they have some, it did. And so they need to be in a very different place in their lives before the type of help they're offering people. By the way, the other reason why I asked S. Campbell those questions, it's not just about sort of helping people get recovery, but there are people who are not involved in drug culture that will walk past all the signs of some of the worst experiences with the darkest drugs out there. And if you're not in that culture, you don't recognize it. Some people who knew what that foil question was about, the burnt foil but no rig, some people in your audience, G-Man, knew what I was referring to, but most of them didn't. And G-Man, if you knew some things that S. Campbell knows, you would have spotted some stuff like this ahead of time, and you could have saved yourself a lot of grief. So I'm kind of glad he was here to sort of help educate that way.
They behave like textbook tweakers, textbook junkies. I mean, just the scams, the denial, the convoluted stories. It's anybody that's ever had to deal with a junkie, they're basically following the same playbook that all the other ones do. And they always think they're the smartest ones in the room, and they always think they're fooling everybody, but everybody knows what they're up to.
Yeah. Dragnet Silvis, what's up?
How you doing, man? This has been an interesting live stream, G-Man. It looks really familiar too, man. There's those super chats and people weighing in on topics, man. It feels
No,
like
it don't look that familiar because you're gonna try to put me into that category you're in, and I don't think so. But I get what you're saying, though.
I'm in a different echelon, but it's still, you know what? It's interesting. Someone made a comment about this new part of the arc, man. It is fascinating to me. But yeah,
this is my first time having super chat, so I don't know nothing. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to keep up with all of this, and this is not as easy as I thought it was. So
yeah, I mean, I make it look easy. I understand. It's okay. It's all right. That's why I have software to help me out. But
yep, OBS.
So I have been keeping a track of good old Rev, and he has a lot to say about you that he just sent me actually not even 10 minutes ago that we could talk about off air. But
about me?
So, yeah.
I want to hear that.
That you told him about you being institutionalized and anger issues and stuff like
no, I saw that video. That's old. I saw that. I saw that video. That's old.
Like a paragraph actually. So, but you can talk about that at length, and like I said, I'll let you know. But
I'm not talking about it at all. Rev is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm not paying him no mind.
well,
So
I mean, you say that, but I mean, did you find him with like meth or something? Like I don't like he might be delusional from starving. I don't know. I have no idea.
Good. I
I
hope
don't
he
know.
starves.
Well, I still want something from you. Were you able to find
The
article
dad,
of clothing?
the text. I'm working on the video. You'll get everything soon. Don't worry.
Okay, well, I just like there's somebody who's willing to like if you leave a box on the front porch, they'll pick it up and send it to me. Like a jacket or a shirt or something that they wore that still smells like them.
Why
Because
are you so interested in smelling that?
because, because I have a morbid sense of curiosity, and I'm willing to take some gloves and to smell it from a distance and do it live. Actually,
I think I got her. Porcelain dolls or whatever. I think. I'll give you that. A lot of that gross smell is on that, and I'll let you know when I'm over there again, and you can. I'll arrange for you to be able to go there and get it.
Okay, good. Yeah, Mrs. Drag won't let me bring it in the house, but that's fine. We'll keep it in the
You
garage.
better not, because you might have little bugs jumping on you. I don't know.
Ew.
Hey, Drake, I have a way totally off topic question. Do you have access to gas chromatography?
I do not anymore. But yeah, I think I know what you're getting at. But I don't anymore.
Leave it alone. That's what I'm saying
But
to
it's
you.
interesting though with Indigo. Indigo's car smelled better than that house did because Indigo had a whole bag of spoiled meat in the back of her car, and then she didn't
Why?
bathe that much either herself, and she smelled a lot better than that whole house did.
Bro, they
Wow.
still stink. They don't even take showers. They still don't take showers. You could look at them and see that they don't take showers. It's fucking gross.
And the shower works in that hotel, by the way. The shower works. But I think they use the tub as a
I don't
as
think
a
she could
litter
fit in
box. I
there.
think so.
They
What?
use the
I think
tub
they use
as
the tub as a litter box. I think so. Yeah, because when I went there the last
They
time,
just throw
there
litter?
was a bunch of cat poop. No. There was a bunch of cat poop inside the tub.
They just throw kitty
really?
litter in there?
I hope someone takes those cats away soon.
I will go take the cats.
I
Well,
mean, I'm offering too.
somebody did call. I think it was ASPCA on them, and the Shanny and Rev won't let anyone in there at all. Period. Even the person from Adult Protective Service, they won't let anyone physically inside the domicile. So that's going to be quite a bit of an issue. A couple of people have sort of reached out to me. When Rev made that video, someone called, Adult Protective Services. The person who did call, the person that Rev referenced, hit me up on Facebook, and I was going to read a message from them later. But yeah, so what they're looking for is just someone to just take them into their bosom and take care of them like children. And I find it incredibly fascinating, given the fact that these are the same people that none of these issues occurred when they had money, but amazingly, all these mental issues occurred the second they became destitute. I found it hilarious. But maybe a little coincidental, who knows? But yeah, I'm glad that people are now sort of waking up and then sort of seeing what's happening. But I don't know. Rev has recently stated that I guess wherever they're staying, the property manager said that they can stay there indefinitely until they find their own place. So I don't know if I believe that or not.
That's BS. Come
That
on.
sounds very
Mr. Sunshine,
suspect.
That's bullshit.
Mr.
I
Sunshine
think
brought that
they
up.
contacted CPS. I think CPS contacted another agency and they're paying for the room. That's what's probably happening. That's probably what's happening.
Well, Sister Sunshine said, she was a little surprised about, the hotel's just like, oh, heck, you can stay here. And I was going to say, too, of the Durango, like, my goodness, people are so generous. Oh, yeah, no, you could just have the Durango. Like, you can't believe anything.
They
And I
still got the
bet you they
Durango and they
still
still
have
got
the
the other car. They're full of
PS5.
it. Yeah, and she refuses to sell the PS5, but they're hungry and they're starving. They're not starving. They're not as hungry as they say they are, because if they was, Shanny would have told them to sell the PS5. They're full of it. They're full of it.
Or they would have
But
gone to a food pantry or something.
Yeah, there's help. They're just when they're that lazy and they're when they want things, as G-Man pointed out, $27 at a time. the thing they're hungry for isn't what you get at the food hamper. And I don't want to misunderstand what you were saying, Drake. Like you said, and you sometimes have a way of speaking where your sarcasm is folded in with the normal stuff you say. You said, "Oh, isn't it funny that these psychiatric problems started popping up when they're impoverished?" I don't know if you. Okay, I think you're saying, or I'll just tell you the way I look at it. They've always had psychiatric problems. Their house didn't suddenly become messy, and I don't mean messy. My house is messy, but I mean dirty, filthy, disgusting cat poop all over the place. That didn't happen when they got broke. They were living like that when they still had in excess of $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. I think what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is they've had some of these problems, but now that they're poor, all of a sudden they're self-reporting a broad array of problems that they've never been diagnosed with. Is that what you're saying? Because at least that's my opinion.
Like the fibromyalgia and stuff has always been a mainstay. Rev's sort of erratic behavior has always been there. But, especially for Rev, like this notion that he is so mentally ill from, just fucking, pick a disease out of the hat. He can't do anything now, right? Because he's in this condition. And I don't doubt for a second that each, like I said, both of them have some sort of psychiatric issue. I have several. So it is fascinating now that the self-reporting, as you said, is sort of turned up to the nth degree, and that they're to the point that they can't care for themselves and that they need other adults to care for them, and it's definitely not related to a drug dependency of some form. So
right.
I think most people can see that.
About those diagnoses, and I want to say this for G-Man's benefit, because I know G-Man, you've said, like, when you talk to them, they're pretty convincing when they tell you, oh, brother, we're having this problem. Oh, I can't deal with this because I have this diagnosis. I think you're now very wide awake and alert to when they say they have these diseases, they simply don't. They are so vigorous about self-reporting, but they're also uninformed. They're also uneducated about these diseases. I'm going to give you only one example, but please, in your mind, G-Man, know that I'm saying this about all of the diseases they claim to have. About a week ago, Rev was on something about how he's pretty sure he has bipolar disorder. He says, I'm not diagnosing with bipolar disorder. Then promptly self-diagnoses with bipolar disorder. And then immediately after that, he talks about the rapid minute-to-minute mood swings, which, by the way, is the single biggest contraindicator of somebody having bipolar disorder.
Yeah. If anybody
Brick with Eyes, I'm sorry, 1 second, guys. Brick with Eyes says, how are they getting hotel room money now? I think the government's paying for it.
The government needs to pay for my. Oh wait, they do. But yeah, no. Anybody that has bipolar disorder, and or knows somebody close to them with bipolar disorder, knows that the mood swings don't happen like that. But most people, the most instances of mood swings that I've seen happens over the course of probably, I would say, 18 to probably 30 hours, and they last varying depending on their level of stress. And that depends too on whether it's BP1 or BP2. But for Rev, he just has a mixed bag of psychiatric disorders that he can just defer to in order to try and garner pity from someone. And it's pathetic because people who are watching who actually suffer from these and the loved ones that, that have to sort of suffer with it, it's insulting. It's absolutely fucking insulting.
I still think he's trying to get groundwork for an insanity plea, just in case they do get any kind of like criminal, negligence charges dropped on them when a lot of this stuff comes out with the kid. I seriously think he's just laying the groundwork to try to, claim that he's not responsible for mistreating or neglecting or, anything like that.
That's a possibility.
Well, if true, then, Sister Sunshine, if that's true, then that would show they know as little about the law as they do about psychology or the practice of medicine. Because the types of conditions that they're claiming they have, first off, would have to be diagnosed, not just, hey, I feel like I have this condition. But those are also amongst a set of conditions that do not get you out of legal culpability. They're not claiming that they don't understand what reality is or they don't understand the consequences of their actions. They're claiming that, I have mood control difficulties. That's not a legal defense. So if what you're saying is true, then they're dumb in yet another way.
Yeah, and then a lot of the people who actually review them, such as myself, also suffer from some of these disorders. So it's amazing that me, as a prime example, who suffers from certain mood disorders, adjustment disorders, I can have gainful employment, education, a family, and I'm still culpable for all of my actions, but yet these two can't seem to work a cash register, as Rev indicated that he could very well do prior to him being destitute.
Let me say this real
How
quick
to
to
do
the
it.
audience that is watching real quick. I will be appointing mods on this YouTube channel probably tomorrow. So if you see yourself as a mod, I was the one who did it. So I'll take care of that soon. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah,
Very,
don't
very
make me
cool.
mod, just unblock me.
Real quick, Jimmy, just watch for me backstage. I'm going to stay muted for a little while. You guys it's a great conversation. I'm going to stay muted for a bit, but I've got to do the thing where the Wi-Fi bumps. So I don't know what heck StreamYards does.
Well, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be live though. So maybe live for another 20 minutes.
Not to interrupt, but I'm gonna head out. Thanks for letting me on. Appreciate the conversation. Bye, Daddy.
It was good seeing you. I'll think about you later.
Bye, Jules.
By Daddy. Who's Daddy?
I think she's talking to you, G-Man.
So anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to show that video today where Shanny was just totally just destroying me, talking about how I shouldn't eat, how I need to work, and all this other stuff and whatnot. And now that the shoe's on the other foot, she doesn't feel like she has to do any of those things. She's very hypocritical by doing that. As a matter of fact, you know what I should have did? I should have called this video "Shanny activates hypocrite mode." If I should have called this, what did I call this video?
I
Shanny
want
Oh,
said-
by the way, G-Man.
Oh,
By the
Yeah.
way, G-Man.
I
I never praise your videos, but that one you did today, like where you were playing videos of like quote unquote advice she was giving you, my jaw hung open. Like how you had those video clips handy of her going on about you got to get a job and all that other stuff.
Mhm.
Wow.
I have a question for you, G-Man. What
Yeah.
do you feel with, because Shanny's mother literally went to her deathbed, not wanting contact with Shanny. I think it's pretty telling that she hasn't, as far as I know, reached out to her family, because I know she's got like some
Her
siblings.
siblings want nothing to do with her. They made that very clear prior to Betty's death.
Yeah. So, I mean, I really felt like they kind of thought they were going to get some money when her parents died.
They
And-
did.
And
They actually said
didn't,
that.
Yeah. I think they were thinking they were going to get another payday, and that was going to, take them back to Easy Street like they had with Rev's inheritance. And it just didn't happen.
Can
But-
anybody vouch for anybody in this live chat? Everybody keep telling me I need a mod. I don't see why I need a mod.
You could always mod me.
I don't see you in the. I don't. Okay, David Anthony's in there. I don't see you in here, Sabella. Let me see. Leave a comment in the chat. All right. Let me see something here.
Yeah,
Wait a
we
minute.
don't know a lot. We don't know a lot about the dealing with the parents' remaining assets. What little we do know is that there are more siblings than most people are aware of, and they weren't exactly wealthy people on passing. And the
No, they
siblings
weren't.
didn't dispense. Yeah, and the siblings didn't dispense any funds. They actually did have representation and an executor, and it was sort of that. And we don't know how much, and it's none of our business. But no,
I got,
that was not a happy situation. But apparently, she was settled with appropriately. That's all we've
got
heard.
I got 3 super chats I got to read here real quick. I'm sorry. A girl has no name gave $5 and said Red's mental illness always gets worse closer he gets to having to work. I see that. That's true. David Anthony says he gave a $2 super chat and says, what is all that active stuff about anyway? Todd Malaco gave $10 and said, G-Man, you should probably tell Jason that Chrysler Capital is going to repo that Durango. They also don't have insurance in PA, so Jason will eventually get arrested. Can't argue with that. Ben told him to take care of that.
I'm still not sure. People are saying that he's lying about the tire thing and stuff. But I mean, I kind of believe his story that he got a second flat tire and that he did. I'm just, again, some of it's like, it's funny because we shouldn't speculate. But then when they tell you something and then you decide to believe them or not believing, that's speculation because you can never take them at their word. Anyway, he says he left the vehicle on the side of the road. I speculate that he's actually telling the truth there because he doesn't have the basic skills to deal with a mechanical problem like that, especially a flat tire in traffic. And by the way, G-Man, like when we were talking about the tire before, like you know where I live. It's a big place. I spend a lot of highway miles. I know what a chewed up tire looks like when somebody drives on a rim. I also know how to deal with that situation when you're out in the cold and the dark and you lose a tire off the rim. Jason's never had those skills. Jason's never been in a situation like that. He is the kind of guy who in a city, when that happens, he will get out and you know, wave down other traffic. And when people don't help him, he'll walk. Now, if that happened, and then the city had to collect that Durango off the road, hello, he can't get it back until he can demonstrate ownership, registration, insurance, and a driver's license. What happens now, in your view, G-Man? You're American, I'm not. What happens to him? And what
I still think he has a Durango. I think he's full of it, and I think he has the caddy too, because they need the Durango. That's their insurance if they need to sell something to get any money. They wouldn't just leave that on the street like that. I don't believe him. I believe he still has the Durango.
You see how hard it is to talk about these people, because you know
it's hard to tell what they're lying about.
I mean, if you want to know if the Durango's there, all somebody's got to do is just go over there and go look in the parking lot, and you'll see it.
I don't care enough. but you see what I mean? Like how hard it is when I say, okay, well, this is what he said. You heard the same thing. You and I are listening to the same words. But when I ask you, well, what do you think happens next? Well, we can't get there. We have to stop at the point of you saying, well, I believe this, but I don't believe that. Well, I'm saying I believe that, but I don't believe this. Like, it's just chaos trying to understand when they're telling the truth and when they're not.
I know this, though, from being around them. I know when Rev is being told what to say and who told him what to do, because the moment he starts looking at Shanny, I know he's full of it. You know what I mean? You'll know when it's genuinely him making the video, when he's not constantly looking at her, seeking approval, or repeating something that Shanny hasn't already said. So,
yeah, fair enough. I mean, I'm looking at him through a window, though, right? You've been in the same room with them, so that's.
Yeah, and I've listened to them decide when they're going to make a video and when they're not going to make a video. I've been in the house with them when they decide to go live and deal with you guys before, which is kind of weird looking at it actually happen, but. I know when they're full of it, and I know when they're being serious. Shanny, in that video that she made, what was the video she made? She made a video talking about William, I think, and then another video just talking about having the right to make money the way she wanted to make it. Some of the things that she said in the video, I believe, are genuine, and some of the things that she said in the video was horse manure. And I know for a fact, because I've been around them long enough to know that it was horse manure. Can you guys hear me, or my volume down? Or
I can hear you.
We heard you fine. We just don't even know how to react to that, because what do you say when G-Man's right? We are equipped to deal with that situation.
I don't know. I know I'm getting tired though, and I'm gonna get some sleep. Yeah. All I know is that I got played for a while, and I'm not getting played no more by Shanny, Rev, or anybody else on YouTube for that matter, because I'm about sick of this. That's all I know. I definitely believe that I was a backup plan, and that blew up in her face. And Shanny, if you're watching this, Shanny, and more than likely you actually are, you messed up. The last straw was broken when you made that YouTube video, and you was like, I gave you a death sentence, because I couldn't constantly keep giving you this money every single week. She's crazy. Yeah,
that was so over the top. But let me tell you something. I know you're looking to wrap up. So let me tell you something. The reason I said I wanted to talk with you separately is I didn't want to say this on air. Yes, you got played. And I'm not making fun of you for saying that. What I wanted to say to you was you got played precisely because you thought you could help them. And I totally understand that drive.
You're not the only one who this happened to.
Yeah, I'm assuming that that's the same expression in English, but here we say to take in a hurt rescue, to take in a hurt bird, take an injured bird. You know what I'm saying? Do you have that expression? It's the same expression, isn't it? To take in a hurt bird. You can't take in every hurt bird. And I get that they actually did some pretty cool stuff for you a long time ago, and then immediately pulled the rug out from under them. Oh, by the way, and it's not the same situation. It's driving me nuts. Even you've said, oh, well, they kind of did the same thing. No, she got mad at you emotionally one day and threw you out with no notice. And you told them that you had to dial down the cash value you were giving them so that it was matching sort of a percentage of your, seasonally reduced income.
Right.
And you gave them notice when you asked them to leave. That's not the same thing. So I get how you kind of felt like you owed them something, but looking at the straights there, and you got S. Campbell coming in here, who I understand from what he said tonight, you guys don't generally get along, telling you need to watch for signs that their life is not just a little bit off the rails. They are dangerous people when they're in the state. And that's why people have been reaching out to you to say, you know what, G-Man, some of us agree with you on some stuff, and we make fun of you for other things, and you got to roll with it, and you do roll with it. But when people tell you, hey, man, be careful because they're in such a bad situation, they are not going to be good in your life. It's not a hurt bird that you're helping. This is
they're
these are
extremely
wounded
dangerous
animals
right
that are going to
now.
wreck you. Yes.
I gotcha. Well, like I said, I don't have anything to do with them no more. I'm not giving them no money or nothing like that. Some people actually believe I'm still giving them money, and I'm not. So I hear what you're saying, though. Totally hear what you're saying.
Okay. Well, then let me, and my daughter's home now. She mentioned, are you talking to G-Man? You haven't talked to him for years. How's he doing? She asked. She hasn't said, I don't know if you just heard her
How
say
are
hi.
you doing?
Yes. How you're doing?
Hi, I'm doing good.
She's doing good, she says.
Okay.
I guess the next question is, how long does this stage last? Where you're investing your audience, your troll audience certainly hopes that this lasts a long time, with you trotting out your frustration with them on YouTube.
I gotta try to figure out what I'm gonna do with my YouTube channels because certain Christian, some Christian YouTube channels are not in the algorithm, or YouTube isn't sharing our videos the way they share other videos. So YouTube's kind of changing. So I'm trying to change with YouTube. So we'll see.
Well, for now, it's going to help you build, because this does get a lot of views, and the more you talk about how foul their body odor is and how much cat doo there was in the bathtub,
Well, actually, I'm going to talk about some of them videos that I never talked about in the past. That's for sure. That exists on that Fat Courtney Love YouTube channel, on Fundy Archive and XX Archive, I think it is. So
yeah,
I'm going to take an opportunity to do that a little bit.
I'll tell you what, you do you. This is the second time I've come in to talk to you about this. I don't think this is going to be a regular occurrence. I'm not even here to talk about this stuff. To whatever extent you and I used to be friends, I'm reaching out to you to tell you, get your feet underneath yourself. That's all. So you be you. If you want to talk about this stuff for days and weeks and months and whatever, it's going to help you channel build. Is it good for what goes on in your brain and in your heart? I got to let you decide that for yourself.
Now these super chats that I got here today, YouTube is going to hold on to all of those, or?
Yeah, you'll need to talk to somebody who's a regular super chat collector. I've never made a nickel off of YouTube, so I don't, and it's certainly not during the super chat era. But yeah, I'm just telling you what I'd heard.
I don't know nothing about it other than I got to read these things. That's it.
I think it's a third, and then it has to build up to a certain amount before they give you the money. And even then, when they do give you the money, it lags behind a month or 2 months or something like that. Let me put it this way, G-Man. It is not going to affect your finances. From what you've said, it's pretty obvious that you make more money by working hard than you will make with super chats. So I think I'm glad to see you say thank you to people and you appreciate the gesture. But I also don't think you're going to get dollar signs in your eyes or euro signs in your eyes, because you're not going to get.
Anyway. No.
Did you end up having to pull up that flooring and replace the subfloor? Because that's the only way you're going to get, especially urine, animal or human. That's the only way you're going to get the smell out. You're going to have to tear up the floor and replace the subfloor.
And definitely the carpeting.
There's going to be another carpet put in there. Whatever's soaked into the floor, I will get professionally sand, and I will get it stripped and have it worked on or whatever. The rest of the house, I got most of the smell out of that house. Most of the smell, if you walked in there now, you wouldn't smell any of that. And probably by the end of next week, you won't be smelling it at all.
Yeah, because there are some products that they use for like bio cleanup, like when somebody dies in a house and their body oozes into the floor. Get rid of a lot of that. Sometimes it's just easier to remove the flooring, replace it. But yeah, because otherwise you'll put carpet down, but that smell, if it's sunk down through the joists and it's in the subfloor, it's going to start coming out again, especially when it gets warm.
Holy heck, Sister Sunshine. Is that not appalling that the thing you're describing that comparing it to corpse removal is actually an apt comparison. Like, did you hear yourself say that?
Well, I mean, I saw the videos from Colorado, and that
I know.
that's the type of stuff that those biohazard cleanup companies, that's the kind of stuff that they have to deal with, because I mean, it's just that stuff soaks in, especially when you've got people urinating, on the floors.
Well, I'll tell you what, since you brought that up, let me tell you something that G-Man didn't know this, because I was sort of more active then on Drag's Discord server when that was going on. And I'm going to say the poop ninjas. I mean, I think people know which phrase I'm talking about. Somebody who I don't know, but apparently has connections with other people who know people or whatever. And Dragnut got all that video and of that guy who went in and was like looking inside the fridge and stuff. And then we saw those horrible pictures of that litter box overflowing. And he kept talking about the smell. Let me tell you what I said to that group. And I'm not necessarily popular amongst that group, because while people are having fun laughing at the situation, I'm the old wet blanket that's in that room saying, you guys got to grow the hell up. Like what I told him, I said, there's 2 reasons why you never should have gone in that house. Well, 1, you never should have gone in the house because it's not your house. And I get that, oh yeah, Shanny and Rev are on their crazy road trip and they're saying, oh yeah, you people feel free to go in there. Once they left that townhouse, they didn't have the right to give other people permission to go in. They were trespassing when they went in, not trespassing against Shanny and Rev. They later claimed that, we were robbed and all that other nonsense. No, they gave up custody of the place. It's now back in the custody of the landlord. So people going in there is trespassing against the landlord. Those people never had the right to give them the permission to go in. But here's the other consideration, just thinking about what you said there, Sister Sunshine. When they went in and smelled that smell, they should have turned on their heels and left, because people underestimate the health consequences of a biohazard, of a house that's full of cat litter and urine and human feces on the wall. That person who went in there and opened that fridge door was not appropriately prepared for the biohazard that comes along with cat waste and human waste being locked in a room like that for days.
Well, that kind of stuff actually, as it dries out, the feces, feces dust.
It turns into dust and you inhale it. Yes.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And you get lung.
Angie's Poo Poo Shinobi raw chicken reviews sent $2.79. It says Nature's Miracle Enzyme Cleaner for biochemicals or whatever. Biologicals. I'm sorry. Yeah.
That won't work for the level of urine. I mean, we're talking a lot of urine, especially in the boys' rooms. That's a lot of urine. I mean, I remember the videos from Colorado and looking at the pictures of the toilets and things. Wow.
That didn't start in Colorado, though. They were doing that at Betty's, and that was one of her biggest complaints.
Yeah, she had.
Just for the moment. Just for the moment, let's not diss Nature's Miracle. And I know they're not a sponsor, G-Man, but I got to say, as a cat owner, and recently I had a cat that got so old and started having problems, and we actually eventually had to euthanize him. But he went through a phase of like peeing on the floor. And Nature's Miracle, again, not a sponsor, but those Nature's Miracle enzyme-based urine destroyer was great on linoleum. It actually helped save our house and make it so it didn't sneak. But you have to stay on that stuff. When the cat peed, you have to be there with that enzyme stuff right away, and you got to keep your house clean. But I'm kind of making fun. I'm not dissing your point. I don't want you making fun of Nature's Miracle. It's a good product.
It would actually be really
inadequate.
I'd like to see
for that purpose.
You know what video I'd like to see you do, G-Man? I'd like you to go through that house with a black light and see where all the biological material is, because it should still fluoresce at night. That would be interesting.
He should have painted, but
that would be with a black light. That might be interesting. Maybe I will do that. We'll see.
Yeah, because
that would be a funky situation.
I've done that to try to find, like, when your dog.
But I don't think I want to know how dirty it is.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think you want to know.
Yeah.
That's light of color.
No, Lord.
Like I said, we'll see. We'll see. Somebody told me in the live chat.
It's my first time meeting you. How you doing?
I'm sorry, what?
Can y'all hear me? No, I was saying hi to Sister Sunshine. It's my first time meeting her. I've watched some of her videos.
Oh, well, thank you.
This is a treat. This is a treat. I want to say something on exit. And come also, you have seen Sister Sunshine? I've seen her show for years.
Long time ago. It was probably a couple years back.
Well, I just recently put up a video last night about syphilis. So You know, if you want to know all about sinfulness and syphilis, check out my newest video, because it's long and I ramble, but I feel like I made some important points.
Well, also, if you're ever looking through the comments, if you're ever looking through the comments on the video and you see that bright yellow flower with Sister Sunshine TV, that's going to be a comment worth reading. On my way out, I'm glad that Sister Sunshine and Kamal have met. G-Man, for your benefit, I want to say, you should, whenever you're listening to people and you're weighing like whether they're telling the truth or whether they're being honest or dishonest or honest but mistaken, you're weighing those things. Always give double weight to whatever Sister Sunshine says, because I'm going to point out as I'm leaving here that literally everything she predicted last time she and I had spoken, she made a lot of these predictions around that time. And literally everything she predicted has come true.
Yeah, I remember that.
Except for the claim. No, the only thing that she said hasn't come true yet was that Shanny would be with a non-Jason, a whole new man by now. But maybe, oh no, not by now. She didn't say by now. But she said that eventually she's going to move on. She's not going to be with Jason anymore. When she finds that specific thing hasn't happened yet. So good seeing you again, Kamal. Wilson's here.
Rev's probably either going to get locked up or it's going to be some domestic violence.
Rev just put up a video. It just popped across my screen. Rev just put up a video. My final words to G-Man.
Oh,
I kid you not. I just saw it. He just put up a word. My final words to G-Man.
I'll look at it after this. I don't feel like I don't feel like watching it.
I will grab that.
I'm tired.
I just wanted to say this.
I'm going to say goodnight, and I'm going to go watch the video. If it's interesting, I'll message you right away. Anyway, good seeing you again, Kamal. You guys have a great night.
For sure.
I know that somebody had posted in Discord that they have the of Jason, I'm sorry, Rev smoking with a torch lighter with foil and a straw, and I asked for the timestamp and they couldn't provide that. I'm like, so that's just
crap.
I can verify he had a torch lighter, because I remember seeing the torch lighter and thinking at the time, oh yeah, he's smoking some crack. I never saw him with the actual foil or the tin foil, but also they use a lot of the steel wool.
Allegedly.
Like the SOS pads, the steel wool. If people are using meth, a lot of times you'll find a lot of that laying around the house as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Brick with Eyes says 0 of you people have cleaned horse stalls, ammonia. Okay. Thank you, Brick with Eyes.
I have mucked many a stall in my day as a young person. I worked at an equestrian ranch in exchange for riding lessons. And I cleaned a lot of horse stalls. And you are right. The ammonia will knock you out if it's strong enough. You know, if you don't have good ventilation, yeah, you can have some real problems.
I understand. We had to clean. I'm not even telling y'all that. I'm not even gonna do it. But just ask somebody who had to clean the barrels. They'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's pretty disgusting. But G, I'm keeping it a buck with you, homie. I'm proud of you, bro. Like really, I told you last time we chopped it up. I think personally, regardless to the differences we may have on certain issues, I think personally you got a good heart. I think you looked out for for 3 people who needed you in a certain situation, and you probably have done it before for other people if you could. And like the last time if you notice, and I don't know GP like that. I'm not disrespecting him or nothing like that. So don't come at me, bro. But it seemed to, when we was chopping it up, it seemed like when GP came in the room, that's when it kind of went off the rails between me and you a little bit. But then we got back to our conversation and it was cool. But I tell you from the bottom of my heart, bro, I ain't trying to, I'm not that type of dude. And all the guys in the atheist community can tell you, but I don't do that. I don't even watch them enough I know they put their whole life on the internet and then they wonder why people talk shit about them. Well, look what you do. Y'all disgusting. You disgusting people. You take care of them kids. Pardon me. You don't take care of the kids. And to put that young man on the internet like that, that pissed me off, bro. That was wrong. They should have
It was
never let that young
particularly
man get
vile,
on
yeah.
and have him co-signing for them. That pardon my language, Miss Sister Sunshine, but the bitch was wrong. It's just the
Oh,
way I feel.
that's not the
And
worst she's done. That's not the worst she's done. Earlier, Will, I believe, tried to commit or threatened to commit
Yeah,
suicide.
it was Will.
And she live streamed that, and she's also outed him as being a homosexual.
And
Because
for watching porn, even though he wasn't watching porn.
right, she was trying to get OB or I mean the GBTQL whatever community to give her money, and so she used her son and outed him. I don't even have a clue if that kid is even really gay. I mean,
why would you put that out there like that
He
about your
cried in
child?
at least 2 of those videos asking her not to put him on there.
Oh, he
Wow.
was begging her. He was begging her. She was taking him to a place to get help, put him inpatient for a suicide attempt. And he
Yeah, I
was,
remember that.
yeah, not to put this on the internet. And she just kept on streaming it. She could have cared less because it's about
That-
her.
Yeah,
No,
it's about what she going through, her pain, and another thing that pisses me off about them, about Shanny, Sister Sunshine. I'm a vet. I'm in a wheelchair myself. I'm in a wheelchair every day of my life, and I live with pain every single day. I moved from Detroit to Alabama because of the weather here in the D. When I'm in Detroit now visiting my son, but because of the weather here, it affects me. It hurt. It gives me, when it gets real cold outside, it hurt. But I don't care if I wear long johns or what. It never mattered. It really affects me, and because I miss my babies, I was thinking about moving back to the D, and they both of them like, no, Dad, don't move back to Detroit because of the weather. And they're right. They're absolutely right. I would suffer a lot because I did. And to hear her talk about pain angers me. She probably in pain for being so big. Not disrespecting no big people out there. I love me. I've been found me some fine big sisters before.
I don't
Enough
think
said.
that. I don't
But-
think that. I don't think her pain actually is a result of her size.
Pain is a frame of mind, and people often use pain as an excuse to not do things or to fuck up or give up on things. That's honestly what it sounds like.
That's my son.
Hi guys.
Angie Poo Poo Shinobi Raw Chicken Reviews gave $2.79 and says, "Stay big mad you to LOL G Man get super chats."
Get your money, G. Get your money,
Yeah.
man. I ain't
Somebody
mad
told
at
me
you.
to put an Amazon wish list on here, and you know what? I'm gonna do it because I want a Voltron. I'm gonna put that out there. I want a 1986 die-cast Voltron.
Didn't you guys love the there was a wish list that Shanny and Rev put up, and she had like a 8X orange mesh bodysuit, all this kind of stuff, right? Like nothing for the kids that I remember. It was all this weird
She say the bitch put on an 8.
It was like an 8X size, and I was just blown away because I was
Man.
like, oh my goodness,
8X. I didn't know they made nothing that big. I'm sorry. I didn't know they made nothing that big.
Called a fishing net.
But again, no disrespect to my big sisters out there. Please don't take it like that. But for her, I don't feel no. And I used to feel sorry for Rev. And people like some of the people tell you, I felt sorry for Rev because I felt like just like she was doing G, she doing him the same way. She done spent all this man's money, help spend it, because I'm sure Rev spent some money on some BS, but guess what? That was his bread, and he could do whatever he wanted to do with it. But she
spent
had
a lot
no
of it
right.
while he was unable to.
Oh, definitely. Giving it away to people and then expecting favors when, and when she had to do, you know what, G? I'm telling you this right now. They regret. Shanny regrets saying that crap to you. They regret it. Or I don't know if she does, but I know Rev regrets it because he didn't want to be in this situation. He ain't never been in, he ain't never dealt with you know, I'm from the D, you from Jersey. We know what it's like to have the government cheese and the farina and the stuff
I got
like
government
that.
cheese in there right
Rev
now.
don't
Hey,
know
commodity
nothing
cheese,
about that.
best cheese on the
Yeah,
planet. I grew
Rev
up with
don't know nothing about that.
commodity cheese. I'll take that any day over anything in the grocery store.
I'll take. Oh, that was the. Oh my goodness, are you kidding? The only thing I didn't like, y'all know about that, but as soon as you put milk on it, it would get soft. You had to eat it real fast, because if you don't, it'll go soft on you. That's what she said. But I had that was a good one, son, wasn't it? That was a good one. That's what she said. Just wanted to make sure. But yeah, but you had that cheese. I'll take that any day of the week. And you talk about some grill. My mother made miracles out of that stuff, out of the canned chicken and the canned turkey. My mother made miracles out of that, and Rev don't know nothing about that. He ain't never struggled like that. So for that man
he's about to get an education.
Be in the situation,
he's about to get an education.
He getting it. Yes, you know what he needs to do? He needs to pack his shit and go to his uncle and beg him, hey, I'm not going back to that broad. Please help me, uncle, whoever you are. Please help me. That's what he needs to do. That's it. And if she's so sick, with cancer and all of this crap that she says she got, go to a hospital. Go to a hospital and get yourself taken care of.
And she ain't got no cancer, and she ain't got no blood clots, and she ain't got no medical records. She's self-diagnosed. That's what it is.
Oh, for sure.
She's
I know.
self-diagnosed.
But she pimping Rev, and she making him get on here and beg. I mean, you can look at him when he talking. He looks up at her. Then he talks some more. Then he looks up at her, just to make sure he's saying the right thing to make her feel good. You know what I'm saying? It's some sucker shit, man, and I can't stand it. I can't stand to see no chick work a dude like that.
I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead, son.
At some point, being abused is not okay. At some point, you have to accept that the abuser is choosing to abuse, and the abusee is choosing to stay.
For sure.
This person is an adult.
He is.
This person has been allowing this person to take advantage of them. Obviously,
but here's the thing. He's never been in this situation. It does. He's never been in a situation like this.
He was a virgin.
Okay.
He was a virgin when they got
together. Yeah, he was a virgin and he was sheltered.
But that's also his first piece of tail. He ain't never. He does.
There's tons of people who get their first piece of tail.
That's his first piece of tail from abroad, who know how to work somebody. My man G. He, like I said, he got a good heart. Hold on, listen to me.
This woman I get it, but this person is also settling with this person. That's their choice.
Yeah, because he don't want to be alone. And he's scared to be by himself. That's how I look at it. Anybody else hear me? He's scared.
Yeah, we hear you. Yeah, we hear you.
Someone else.
By himself.
You still need to make the decisions that you need to make to improve your life. It doesn't matter who you're stuck with. You're choosing to be stuck with this person.
Okay, so can you say the same thing about a woman who's being abused?
Yes. If she has many chances to escape, when she goes back, that's her. I have tons of abuse from women who that are abused. If she continues to get out and go back, that's her fault. You can't.
But it's a mind thing, though, son.
Even though it's a mind thing, you still have to go get help yourself. No one else can help you.
True.
The world is not a nice place. No one can help you. You have to figure out when it's wrong for you to stay and go.
It's my 28-year-old son running game because he knows. He gets it.
I understand having sympathy for people, but like the world doesn't have sympathy for you. You only you live and you die, and that's all there is to it. And everything else that happens in between are the decisions that you make and the people you allow in your life.
I agree. I mean, I can't. What can I say? What can I say? All right, son.
All right, guys. My
sorry,
battery's
y'all.
almost dead. I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon because my battery's almost dead and I am dead tired. So, does anybody got any last words that they want to give? Because I'm gonna have to wrap this up.
Last word for me, G. Again, I'm proud of you, homie, for you know, doing your thing, man. You don't have to. The thing is, everybody don't have to agree on everything. I'm not the type of person I want to, you know, when everybody in the room agree on the same thing, somebody ain't listening. You know, when everybody just agreeing. So with that being said, you having your own opinions about certain things, bro, speak your mind. But right now, you doing your thing, bro, and I'm proud of you, man. Keep getting your money, bro. I'm gonna wave at y'all. Y'all be easy. Nice to meet you, Sister Sunshine. Everybody else, wave at your boy.
All right, come on. Wave. There you go.
Right, come on.
Anybody else got anything else they want to say before I hit this end button, hit that awesome outro?
I'm glad that you took Beckel's advice.
Yeah.
G-Man,
Yeah, Beckel gives a lot of good biblical advice when I need it, especially when I'm to and fro and I can't make my mind up about stuff.
G-Man, I really appreciated being your first super chat.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it too. That was fun.
Yeah.
I gotta remember. I'm sorry, Wilson gave me my first super chat on this channel. That's gonna be something.
I just want to say that if you look at it, I mean, yes, there are times that I do have some sympathy for Rev, not a lot, but some, because he had a very dysfunctional relationship with his mother. He has no life. Still has no real life experience. Shanny, Betty said that Shanny deliberately targeted him because he had money. She knew exactly what she was doing. She picked him out of the crowd and she hunted him down, basically. First person he ever had sex with, you know, first relationship he's ever been in. So now his parents are dead. He doesn't have any siblings. I mean, he basically put all of his eggs in one basket. He's also, I do think that, especially when they first got together, if you look at those early videos, he was barely conscious. And that is scary, how she moved in on him when he was in that kind of condition. You know, now he's somewhat recovered, but I don't believe that he's ever stopped drinking, and I don't believe that he's drug-free. I think he's doing other things on the side, and she's letting him because she can control him easier when he's getting high or when he's doing whatever he's doing. I feel that he was somewhat of a vulnerable adult, and she absolutely picked him out and she absolutely targeted him, and she thought she was going to be able to do the same thing to you. I really feel that. I think
Agreed.
you were somebody else that she could target and then get rid of Jason and go with you, and you know what I mean, and go to the next
She
one.
tried a few times, but she failed each time though. She failed each time. In terms of like trying to get me in a relationship. I think the thing that saved me was the fact that she was with him and he was always present. And I never was really with her a lot when he wasn't around. So
right.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think she was planning on holding that house over your head and holding that money over your head, you know, and getting you into a relationship. And I truly think that she thought you and her were going to be living in that house. You know.
No, that wasn't gonna happen. No, I went in there and I smelled that place one too many different times. No, I can understand one time, but when you go there most of the time and it's smelling like that, nah. You know, I don't think so. Because the first thing I would have told her is you gotta get the same thing I told Betty when I talked to her on the phone. Like, you know, you gotta get a job, you gotta do something with yourself. You know what I mean? You gotta go bathe, you gotta do a lot of other things. So
I knew you were onto her because in one of the videos you had said that you weren't the boy's daddy. You know what I mean? That you weren't their daddy. Like you were willing to help them out or buy him stuff here or there, but you weren't their daddy. And that was like G-Man's getting the bubble here. You know what I mean? He's starting to see that she's just looking for a replacement daddy. You know, she played Chris the same exact way. She got him to white knight for her so she could get her kids back. That was the whole thing, right? Oh my goodness, way I need white knight, and she plays on people's desire to do good, right? And plays on their desire to help, and that's actually pretty evil if you start thinking about it. You know.
Oh, it's very evil. You know, it's very evil. It's one of the few things that women do that you know that's a major turnoff. You know, besides being like a gold digger or being like a black widow, but something like that, it's just ugh. You know.
Yep. Yep. And so those children are nothing more than tools to her. People are tools to her. You know, Rev, she picked him out because he had money and he was drunk. He was a drunk. How easy is it to control somebody like that?
And then she convinced him to quit cold turkey.
Yeah. I mean, that's a perfect thing for a person that's predatory to walk into. Perfect situation. He had money, you know, and she got access. And when he got locked up in Colorado, remember, she was trying to get control of his bank accounts. And I said then, if she gets that, she's never going to get him out of jail. She's going to take that money and run. And she's
going to spend it.
Yeah, the only thing that really smelled, you know, that really saved him was that she couldn't gain control of that trust, because I think some of that money was in a trust and he couldn't access it. And she's the one that also talked him into taking the principal out of the trust. He could have still had an income, but she wanted that money now. She wasn't willing to live off of the dividends that trust was invested, you know, that had invested. She wanted it now. She had no long-term plan to stay with him. She wanted all that money. She wanted it now, and she wanted to spend it on what she wanted to spend it on. I think she knew full well. I mean, this is just my opinion, but I think she knew full well she was going to leave.
The original plan was to give me. That's why she probably gave me the house. Yeah, I think the original plan was to use him for his money, and then after she was done with him, I would be in that house over there, and then she would need somewhere to live. She would give me some sob story, and she would come there and live there, you know, and we live happily ever after. All that stuff's going through her head, and none of that was going to happen, by the way. None of it.
Even Betty said that the only reason she was with him was because he had money. She used to
because she used to say it. She told Betty that.
Yep.
Yeah. He'll wake up eventually, though. He'll wake up eventually. What's got to happen is that Shanny's going to eventually get on his case about not providing, and it's going to get under his skin. They're going to have another mega argument. Then somebody's going to contact him. He's going to go on YouTube. He's going to watch the old videos. He'll put 2 and 2 together at some point. So Shanny needs to be very careful what she says to him. Very careful, because if she doesn't, he's going to figure it out, and then he's going to be the one to leave. I keep making the joke on this YouTube channel. I said, one day, you know, one of you going to be sleeping, the other person's going to hop in the car and just leave. That's what's going to ultimately happen. It's a dog-eat-dog world. You know what I mean? And if Rev ain't bringing nothing to the table, he can't expect her to stay there.
Right. Well, and technically, he's still the only reason that she's even still with him is he's still serving a purpose. You know, she can send him out, right, to get dope. She can send him out to go to the neighbors at the Roach Motel and get things. You know, he's willing to make videos begging, you know, having no dignity whatsoever, and beg. If in a second, if Rev was all of a sudden just to wake up one day and have a spine, and if he said, you know what, no, I'm not doing nothing. You know, I'm sitting on this bed, and you, Shanny, you're gonna go do the begging. You're gonna go hit up the neighbors. You know what I mean? You're gonna call your family and get money, right? If he turned her out the way that she's turned him out, she'd be out of there in a heartbeat. I believe she would be out of there in a heartbeat.
She would.
Yep. He'll figure it out at some point. I did, so he'll figure it out one day. He'll figure it out.
Hopefully,
but anyway,
he'll figure it out before he's under a bridge. You know, I mean, the next step down from here is literal homelessness. You know, literally living under a bridge or a freeway overpass. If he keeps her around, he could go with the uncle if he gets rid of her, I think. But
I know for a fact that if he gets rid of her, that he can go to the uncle. Yeah. And I have said on multiple occasions on this channel that if he leaves her and he gets a job and shows that he's trying to do something with his life, you know what I mean? I will gladly give him some of the money when I either rent the place or when I sell it. You know, so that's going to be all up to him. And if he chooses not to do it, it shows his heart. It shows that he ain't trying to get on his 2 feet. That's all it's showing. Yeah, just lazy. But anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I do appreciate all of the super chats and their support.
Night, everybody.
In the live chat. I'm going to put on that awesome outro, and I'm going to get some sleep. Thank you, Sister Sunshine, for coming on here. Thank you, Sabella, for coming on here. And I'll see you guys in the next one. All right.